Today's lesson is asking for help. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
And today we're going to continue with our lesson concerning asking for help. You could ask for help in a lot of different situations, but the situation we're providing you with today, and which we provided you with yesterday, involves conversations in the office. And of course, people work for an office and they work with other people, and of course, they can't do everything themselves. So, of course, they're going to ask their coworkers or people in other departments for help or advice.
That's right. And sometimes when we're stuck on a task that we're doing, don't be afraid to ask your colleagues or your coworkers for suggestions or tips because they might be able to help you get through this task a lot easier or better.
Exactly. So remember in our last program, Dave was asking Liam for some advice about meeting with a client. It was Dave's first time meeting with a client. And then also we had Liam calling up Tina, and he wanted to get some sales figures from her so that he could use them in his presentation. And today we've got a couple of other situations. The first situation is asking for help with a deadline. And this conversation, again, involves Dave and Liam. Let's listen.
3. Asking for help with a deadline. Dave takes a seat next to Liam in the employee break room.
Hey, Liam. I'm really getting crushed by this project deadline. Any chance you could lend me a hand?
Yeah, I've got some extra bandwidth this week. What do you need help with?
Thank you. If you could pitch in on the data analysis, that would be great.
No sweat. I'm pretty comfortable with data analysis. Just send me what you have and I'll dig in.
Great! You're a lifesaver. I'll email you the details right away.
Happy to help. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Absolutely. And thanks again. I owe you one.
大家好，第一部分首先来看名词 deadline 为截止日期或是最后期限。例如 Jordan worked hard to meet the project deadline. Jordan 努力工作以赶上那个专案的截止期限。或者 The deadline for our assignment isn't until the end of January. 我们的作业一直要到1月底才截止。接下来是单字 crush， 这个动词的意思是彻底击败，也可以是让人难过，或是心烦意乱的意思。我们可以说 Samuel is crushed by stress from his parents that he should get good grades on every test. 父母要求每次考试都要高分的压力，让 Samuel 感到不堪负荷。又或者是 Shelley was crushed by the breakup with her boyfriend. Shelley 与男友分手后感到很伤心。再举一个例子 The army crushed the rebel forces and regained the lost territory. 该军队击溃了叛军，并收复了逝去的领土。接着看到名词 bandwidth， 它的意思是处理大量资讯或工作所需的时间、精力，也可以是频宽。例如 Megan drinks at least 3 cups of coffee a day to maintain her bandwidth for work. Megan 每天至少喝3杯咖啡，才能维持工作精力。或者Jimmy applied the high bandwidth services to improve his internet speed. Jimmy 申请了高频宽服务，好增加他的上网速度。再来介绍名词 lifesaver， 它的意思是救星或是救命物。我们可以说 Thank you for being a lifesaver by loaning me money for lunch today. 谢谢你今天借我吃午餐的钱，你是我的救星。又或者说 This brand new technology will be a lifesaver to the victims of the earthquake. 这项全新的科技将成为地震灾民们的救星。
Let's look at conversation 3, asking for help with a deadline. So what is a deadline? A deadline is basically the latest time or date in which something must be done or must be completed. So usually when your teacher gives you a homework assignment, they will give you a deadline and they will tell you, oh, the homework is due tomorrow. That is the deadline. So you have to finish your homework by tomorrow. And here in conversation 3, Dave takes a seat next to Liam in the employee break room. So Dave is going to ask Liam for some help again. Dave says, hey, Liam, I'm really getting crushed by this project deadline. Any chance you could lend me a hand?
Okay, so in this sentence, Dave said he's getting really crushed by the deadline for this project. If you're crushed, usually it means you are being squeezed into a certain form so that other things can come out of you, like you can crush lemons, for example, to get the juice out of them. And in this particular case, it just means that he's under a lot of pressure. He's not quite sure what to do. He's feeling very anxious about this situation because he's got this project deadline. We also know that Dave is fairly new to the company, so he's probably really nervous about this deadline. He's very upset about it, so he's getting crushed. He's under a lot of pressure. Any chance, or is there any chance you could lend me a hand? To lend someone a hand, it just means to help them, to assist them.
Right. And Liam says, yeah, I've got some extra bandwidth this week. What do you need help with? So in this sentence, we see that Liam says that he's got some extra bandwidth. And usually the word bandwidth, we'll think about your internet bandwidth or some radio bandwidth. And it's basically just some frequency or a range of information that is sent through the air via radio waves or electromagnetic waves. And that's what you usually think about when you hear the word bandwidth. But here, Liam uses it in a different way. So in this case, bandwidth is to represent that he still has the energy or the mental capacity required to deal with a situation. So when you have energy or if you have a mental capacity, it means that you are still able to focus on certain tasks. And because Liam is busy with his own work, but he's letting Dave know that he still has some space in his brain this week to help him out. So he's got some extra bandwidth. Okay. And he says, what do you need help with?
Exactly. So he's basically got a lot of free time. He can help him out with whatever he needs. And Dave says, well, thank you. Thank you for helping out. If you could pitch in on the data analysis, that would be great. So here we've got the phrase to pitch in. That just means to aid or help. Everybody pitched in and finished the beach cleanup before noon. Everybody helped, everybody contributed to the efforts, and they finished it quickly as a result. So yes, if you could pitch in on the data analysis, that would be great. And this is a polite way of asking someone to do something for you. If you could help me with this, that would be wonderful. Or if you could do this for me, I'll be eternally grateful.
Right. And usually when you're asking somebody to pitch in, it might not necessarily be their task to begin with. So you're actually asking them to do extra work. So remember, when you're asking someone to pitch in for something, you have to be really polite and nice about it. And of course, Dave was polite. So Liam says, no sweat. Don't worry about it. You don't need to sweat about it because I'm going to help you. I'm pretty comfortable with data analysis. Just send me what you have and I'll dig in. So he's comfortable with the task that Dave is asking him to do. He does this job quite frequently, so he's familiar with data analysis. So he's okay with helping Dave out because to Liam, it might be a very easy task. Just send me what you have and I'll dig in. So he's asking Dave to send him the analysis that he wants Liam to do, and then he'll dig into it. He'll look right into it. He'll go and look at the numbers. He'll help Dave figure out the numbers and what the numbers mean and come up with a report.
The phrase to dig in usually means to start eating. Here's your food, dig in. You may start eating, although it is a little informal, so be careful about the situation you're using it in. It's similar to the phrase chow down, which also means to start eating or to enjoy yourself while you're eating. But in this particular context, when he says, I'll dig in, that just means I'll start working on this project and I'll see if I can provide you with what you need. And Dave says, great, you're a lifesaver. I'll email you the details right away. So a lifesaver is somebody who really helps somebody in a desperate situation. I guess Dave is in such a situation and he really needs Liam's help. And Liam has agreed to help him, so Dave is relieved. Oh, you're a real lifesaver. You saved my life, and I will email you the details right away. That's how they're going to provide each other with the information. They're going to do so via email. People still use email.
Liam is happy to help. So he says, I'm happy to help. He's very glad to help him. There's no problem with helping him. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So this is a phrase that we use often when we talk about working together as a group, because when you work as a team, you come up with results. So that's why the dream works. So teamwork makes the dream work, and it rhymes, so it's a really fun phrase that people often will use to try to encourage people to work together. And this is basically saying that I'm glad to be helping you out and we should work together because we will get things done. And Dave says, absolutely, and thanks again, I owe you one.
Indeed, I owe you one just means you've helped me out a bit here, and in the future, I'd like to repay the courtesy. If you need help, I will be glad to help you out in the future. Okay, that brings us to the end of conversation number 3. Let's move on now to conversation number 4. Asking someone to fill in. This conversation is between Dave and Liam, and Dave is a little sick today. Let's find out what they talk about.
4. Asking someone to fill in. Dave is feeling under the weather, so he asks Liam for a favor.
Hey, Liam, I've hit a snag.
Really? What's up?
I'm really sick today, so I think I need to take the afternoon off. However, I have that presentation in the afternoon, and it can't be rescheduled. I know it's kind of a big favor to ask, but could you step in for me?
Sure, I can help out. I think I already absorbed most of the relevant information when I did the data analysis for you. Just fill me in on any critical details and I should be good to go.
Awesome! I knew you'd save the day. I'll get the slides and we can go over them together.
Sounds good.
Let me buy you lunch sometime to say thanks.
第二部分我们看到 absorb 这个动词，它有理解或是掌握资讯等，也可以是吸收的意思。例如 Kendra can always absorb new song lyrics quite quickly. Kendra 总能够快速掌握新歌的歌词。或是 Plants grow by absorbing light energy from the sun. 植物借由从太阳吸收光能而生长。最后来看到 critical， 这个形容词的意思是关键性的、至关重要的或是挑剔的。我们可以说Janice skipped a critical ingredient in the recipe and the dish was ruined. Janice 省略了食谱中一项重要的食材，整道菜都毁了。又或者说 The patient was in critical condition after surgery. 该名病患手术后情况危急。再举一个例子 The guest was extremely critical to every dish in this restaurant. 这位客人对这家餐厅的每一道菜都极其挑剔。另外将字尾的 al 改为 ism 就会变成名词 criticism， 它是批评、批判或是指责的意思。例如 If you can't handle criticism, then you can't improve. 如果你不能面对批评，那你就不会进步。又或者说 The design of the new building has drawn a lot of criticism from the public. 那座新大楼的设计引起了大众的批评。
All right, let's talk about part 4, asking someone to fill in. So when you're asking someone to fill in for you, you're asking someone to help you take your place in a situation. So sometimes it's when we're sick and we have to take a day off work. So you're asking someone to fill in your position, fill in the position for you. And of course, fill in can also mean to fill in a form. So you're putting some information into something. So Dave is feeling under the weather, so he asks Liam for a favor.
Indeed, and that's, of course, when you want somebody to help you with something, you ask them a favor or ask them for a favor. And Dave says, hey, Liam, I've hit a snag. When I see the word snag, of course, it takes me back to my childhood when I used to go fishing with my brother, and we'd stand at the end of the dock and we'd cast our line into the lake, and then we'd start to reel the line back in, trolling for northern pike or walleye or whatever. But sometimes we'd get a snag. The lure or the hook would get caught on something underwater, maybe an underwater plant or something, or a rock or something. That would be a snag, which means it's an obstacle, it gets in the way, and you can't move forward.
Right. And sometimes when people with long hair, they could be brushing their hair with a brush, and then, ouch, there's a snag in my hair. And Liam, he's really concerned because Dave has expressed that he's hit a snag. He's faced an unexpected obstacle or a problem, and he says, really? What's up? What's going on with you? Tell me and I'll help you out. Dave says, I'm really sick today, so I think I need to take the afternoon off. So Dave doesn't feel well. He's come into the office and then realized he's feeling sick, but he can't just leave work. So he needs to figure out how to take the afternoon off and if somebody can fill in for him.
Right, so here we've got the phrase to take something off. It could mean to remove a piece of clothing. I hate your sweater. Take that ugly sweater off and wear something better. But in this particular case, it just means to not go to school or not go to work for whatever reason. I need to take the day off. I need to take the afternoon off in this case because Dave is sick. And Dave says, however, I have that presentation in the afternoon and it can't be rescheduled. I'm ill, I'm sick, but I still have to give that presentation. And I suppose Dave is going to ask Liam to fill in for him, to replace him, to substitute for him. And Dave says, I know it's kind of a big favor to ask, but could you step in for me? Could you do it for me? Could you take my place? Could you substitute for me?
Liam says, sure, I can help out. I think I already absorbed most of the relevant information when I did the data analysis for you. So Liam, he says yes right away. He thinks he can help out. He thinks he can help Dave do the presentation because he's already absorbed most of the relevant information. So to absorb something is usually we'll think of a sponge absorbing water or a towel absorbing water. But in this case, it's to absorb information, to soak up or take in this information. And usually you can also be absorbed or fully engaged and interested in something. So because Liam, he's good at data analysis, so when he saw the information, he's been able to absorb it quite quickly, and he knows the relevant information already because he did the data analysis for Dave.
Right, so Liam is already familiar with this particular presentation. He already sucked in the information. He already absorbed it. He already knows about it. And then Liam says, just fill me in on any critical details and I should be good to go. So here, fill someone in just means to give them the information that they need. Hey, I don't know what happened here. Can you fill me in? Can you give me the details so then I'll know what to do next? So yes, fill me in on any critical details and then I'll be prepared. Critical means very important, something that cannot be missed. You could also say crucial. Give me the important details, the critical details, and if you give me that information, then I'll be good to go, which means you'll be prepared, you'll be ready.
Right. So Liam wants to make sure that he has the most important details so that he can do the best in the presentation. And of course, Dave says, awesome. He's really happy that just like that, Liam is ready and says yes to helping him out, says yes to filling in for Dave. So awesome. I knew you'd save the day. He's so happy. And awesome usually is used to describe something that's amazing or very impressive, and you feel really good about something. So sometimes when you are very excited or you just accomplished something, you can say that I feel so awesome for finishing all my homework in one afternoon. Or that concert was so awesome. Did you see her dancing and singing live? That was just amazing. So Dave thinks that Liam is really awesome. And he's doing something so great for him. He knew that he'd save the day. I knew you'd save the day. Liam has said yes, so Dave can take the afternoon off. He saved the day because somebody will be able to fill in to do the presentation for Dave. I'll get the slides and we can go over them together. So he'll take the slides out, he'll open up the PowerPoint presentation or the presentation, and then he'll just go through it with Liam. So he'll go through the pages. He will tell and show Liam how to present the presentation.
I should mention that many years ago, I used a film camera, and if you take pictures with slide film, then you get slides. You put them in a projector, and then you can watch them on the wall. But nowadays, slides are done as part of presentations, usually by PowerPoint. There are probably some other software programs out there that do this, but you need to have these presentations in the office to give information to your colleagues or to your clients, so you have those slides. And yes, indeed, Dave will get the slides, and then they'll review those slides together and prepare for the presentation. Liam says, sounds good. I like that idea. And Dave says, let me buy you lunch sometime to say thanks. So that's how Dave is going to express his gratitude to Liam. He's going to treat him to lunch sometime. I think they should have Greek food. That sounds really good. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Let's listen now to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在第一部分对话里， Dave 想要请 Liam 帮忙进行数据分析。那么 Liam 回答说No sweat。 好，这个用语字面意思是没有流汗，引申用来描述某件事情不费吹灰之力，轻而易举。所以在对话情境里面， Liam 他说 No sweat 就是答应要帮忙 Dave， 表示说没问题啦，不麻烦的那种意思。像如果人家说 Can you help me move the table？ 你可以帮我搬那张桌子吗？那这时候可以回答 Sure, no sweat。 好的，没问题。还有当对方在道谢，谢谢你的帮忙时，也可以回答 no sweat。 那这时候就像中文说的这没什么啦，小意思啦。好，顺便补充两个跟 sweat 相关的用语。第一个是 break a sweat， 它表示的是费力的意思。Break a sweat 字面意思是开始流汗，那可以引申表达投入精力做某事。我们也常常会用 do something without breaking a sweat 来描述说做某事毫不费力。好，那么第二个补充的是 Don't sweat it。 Don't sweat it 意思是别担心。 Sweat 在这边是口语用法，表示担心、紧张或是烦恼。所以下次身边有朋友为某件事担心着急的时候，你想要安抚他，就可以对他说 Don't sweat it， 意思就相当于 Don't worry about it。 好，那么在第二部分的对话里面， Dave 他觉得身体不适。那课文是用说 Dave is feeling under the weather 来表达。我们知道 weather 是天气， under the weather 从字面来看是受天气影响。那这个片语意思就跟 unwell 差不多，用来表达身体不舒服、身体不适。通常不会是很严重的疾病，那它常常会搭配动词 feel 一起使用。举例来说I'm feeling a little under the weather today， 就是说我今天身体有一点不舒服。好，那这边也补充两个跟 weather 有关的用语，一个是 fair weather。Fair, F-A-I-R 连字号 weather 从字面上来看是天气晴朗的，好天气的。不过当我们说 fair weather friends 其实是用来指酒肉朋友，不能患难与共的那种朋友，也就是那些在你发达的时候就跟你做朋友，当你患难或是落魄的时候就消失离你而去的那种人。好，第二个补充的是 weather the storm。 Weather 在这里是当动词，它就有平安度过的意思，或者是承受住的意思。Weather the storm 字面上是指说承受住暴风雨的袭击，那可以用来表达度过难关，平安度过危机。好，那么以上就是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Deadline. Albert worked all night to meet the deadline for the science project. Crush. Louise believes her experience should help her crush the competition. Absorb. Cody enjoys reading books to absorb new information and ideas. Critical. It's critical to follow the safety rules when handling these dangerous chemicals.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Kiki.
See you next time.